Hello. Are you thinking about flipping houses for profit? If you are, just be careful because done right, it can be a fantastic strategy. But if you've done it wrong, it can just wipe you out. So today I'm going to show you exactly how flipping works here in the UK and what you need to know before you dive in. If we haven't met before, my name is Dan and I'm a CeMAP qualified mortgage and protection advisor who works here in the UK with landlords, property investors and developers to help grow their portfolios using smart finance strategies. So what is flipping exactly? Well, it's buying a property on the cheap, improving it, and then selling it on quickly. You get different types of flips. So you have cosmetic flips and structural flips. So a cosmetic flip is something along the lines of painting and decorating a new kitchen or bathroom, whereas a structural flip is something along the lines of an extension or a conversion. So why do people do it? Well, there's money to be made effectively. You've got the short-term profit potential there, and there's lower reliance on the long-term rental income and the opportunity to build cash lump sums to reinvest. There are costs that investors will occasionally forget about, and that's stamp duty, solicitor fees, bridging finance or other short-term loans, as well as building costs and contingency. Now, always add in at least a 10 to 15% buffer, and I'll go on to explain that in a bit. And another one that a lot of people tend to forget about can be the estate agent costs. So if you're going to sell the property, they're going to probably want a percentage of the sale price. On that note, you can actually find estate agents that will sell the property for a flat fee. So just, have a conversation with a few different ones to find out which one suits you best. There are risks, don't get me wrong. Now, the market can dip whilst the refurb is underway. Now, the build can also overrun, and there is such thing as cost inflation. So just factor those in, okay? And then again, in the past, people have overestimated the end value. So this is known as GDV. So don't overestimate the end value of the property. Make sure you get a professional's opinion of how much they think the property should be worth once all the work has been done, because otherwise you're going to find that you're going to run into some problems right at the very end. And then another thing, actually, that a lot of people will forget about is tax on the profits. Like, you're going to need to speak to a professional tax advisor on this one to find out whether or not it'd be classed as like income tax or capital gains tax. But yeah, tax advisor is definitely a tool that you must have in your armory when doing this. So how do you finance a flip? Bridging finance is the most common. It allows you to do a quick purchase along with the refurb. First and foremost, traditional lenders will lend the longer term finance, so you're going to be locked in, but they also won't be happy with the condition of the property, so they're going to not lend on that basis. There are alternatives if you don't want to go down the bridging finance route. You've got investors or JV partners, so they'll give you cash. I mean, there's plenty of people out there looking for opportunity. And as I've already mentioned, a standard buy-to-let mortgage isn't really going to be the solution when you're flipping a property, because you're going to be locked in, so you're going to have hefty penalties. Although I did used to have a client who would buy properties on a buy-to-let basis, and then he would just pay the early repayment charge. Now, it cost him in the long run, but he couldn't quite wrap his head around bridging finance. So for him, the idea, it was to just take a buy-to-let mortgage and pay the early repayment charge, but strongly advise against doing that because it just eats into your profits. So what type of clients does flipping a property suit? I tend to find it's for more experienced investors who've already built up a bank of good contacts. So builders, general maintenance workers, plumbers, electricians, that sort of thing. A lot of labourers. You're going to need good relationships with labourers when flipping properties. You're going to need a quick turnaround. You need the condition to be good. You're going to need them to be reliable and turn up when they say that they're going to. People who understand the risks and numbers, this is again why it comes back to experienced investors and landlords, because you're going to need to have a bit of experience with understanding exactly what it is that you're getting into, and also the financials. But that is ultimately what I'm also there for, and we'll work together with that. But you do need, as I've mentioned earlier, I had a client he couldn't wrap his head around the whole bridging finance sort of thing. But you're going to need to have a basic understanding of that for sure. And watch my videos, because I cover off a lot of this sort of stuff already. And you've also got those that are looking to build cash, but not necessarily, passive income. So a passive income would come from a traditional buy-to-let where you've just got that rental, trickling slowly but surely on a month-by-month basis. But flipping a property will give you a huge sort of cash injection, so you can move on to the next one very quickly. Flipping houses isn't dead in the UK. It's very much alive actually. I'm finding a lot of my clients have turned to do that, but it isn't easy money either. So just plan carefully and understand the finance and work with the right professionals. It can be a powerful strategy. I create straight talking videos for UK landlords covering buy-to-let, bridge loans, and smart property finance strategies. If you're serious about growing your portfolio, YouTube's picked out another video for you here, so give that one a watch next. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.